Hello and welcome to my channel, Boo Snakes and More. For more videos like this, also watch my other house channel, A&A Snakes and Stuff, my youngest son's channel, He Needs Toys and Games, or my oldest son's channel, Little Chris 10. Today we're going to be talking about The Simpsons, so let's dive in. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more like it. The character of Dr. Marvin Monroe. Harry Shearer first appeared in the Simpsons episode, There's No Disgrace Like Home. January 28th, 1990. He would show up during the show's early seasons when Homer, Dan Cristline, was preoccupied with his family's perceived normalness. Homer looked at his home and saw the suburban idols of a nuclear family slowly exploding. To combat this, Homer pawned the family TV, an object he saw as problematic anyways, and brought therapy sessions with Dr. Marvin Monroe, a family psychiatrist who promised family bliss or double your money back. It seems the Simpsons were so dysfunctional that even Dr. Monroe couldn't cure them. A shock therapy session goes horribly awry. Dr. Monroe typically appeared whenever the Simpsons required the word of a psychiatric specialist to aid in plot points. He was one of the show's many regular supporting characters, relegated to the background. However, the character died before he was given a chance to enact a plotline of his own. Dr. Monroe was modeled vaguely after Dr. David Viscott, a real-life shrink who starred in a late night call-in helpline TV show in the 80s and 90s, as well as David Allen Monroe, best known for his books on out-of-body experiences. Dr. Monroe eventually vanished from The Simpsons, proportionally because actor Shearer ran his throat ragged doing the voice. In the continuity of the series, Dr. Monroe died. Audiences were told he was dead, and we saw his tombstone. Weirdly, Dr. Monroe eventually returned to the show after 7 years. In The Simpsons Making a Book, Springfield Confidential, by Mike Roos and Matthew Kickstein, the showrunners recalled making There's No Disgrace Like Home and the arc of Dr. Marvin Monroe. It seems many of the show's writers felt the character was cursed. The curse over Dr. Monroe. Roos recalled the very first table reading of There's No Disgrace Like Home, a rehearsal that gathered the show's main cast members in one place for the first time. Reese didn't even realize at the time that Bart and Lisa Simpson were voiced by adult women Nancy Cartwright and Yardley Smith. The Simpsons regular Hank Eliza hadn't even been hired yet. When he was, he went back and re-recorded the stand-in dialogue that had been provided by comedian Christopher Cowlins about Dr. Monroe. Reese wrote, a local radio personality played psychiatrist Dr. Marvin Monroe, but he was fired at the end of the reading. We later cured off the character of Marvin Monroe. In the real Radio Shack, we based him on committed suicide. All in all, kind of a cursed character. Reese wouldn't divulge which radio personality was fired. Sadly, Shiner stepped in. Reese had the details of Dr. David Viscott incorrect why he died young at the age of 58. It was not by his own hand. It seems that Dr. Viscott had separated from his wife and was living alone, suffering from a heart condition complicated by diabetes. He died of heart failure. Dr. Monroe, meanwhile, was killed off unceremoniously. His death only mentioned via context clues. In Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2, September 17, 1995, one of Springfield's cops mentions Dr. Marvin Monroe Memorial Hospital. It was the first clue Simpsons viewers received about the character's fate. Dr. Monroe's death was confirmed in a trivia segment in The Simpsons' 138th episode, Spectacular, December 3rd, 1995, when a narrator asked viewers to name two popular Simpsons characters who had died in the last year. The answer: if you said Bleeding Gums Murphy and Dr. Marvin Monroe, you were wrong. They were never popular. Dr. Monroe, trapped in limbo. The evidence would continue years later. In Alone Again, Natural Ditty, February 13, 2000, several characters walked past Dr. Monroe's tombstone. It was in the shape of a therapy couch. But Dr. Monroe's mortality was brought into question when he reappeared for the episode, Debut of a Mad Housewife. In that episode, Marge, Julia Kavanaugh, had authored a book, and Dr. Monroe, suddenly alive again, arrived at a book signing to get Marge's autograph. Marge noted that she hadn't seen him in a while. "I've been very sick," he replied. It's also possible that Monroe is dead, and that his soul is merely trapped in limbo. Stranger things have happened on The Simpsons. Treehouse of Horror 25, October 19th, 2014, Dr. Monroe appeared as a ghost, prevented from crossing over. Perhaps in Debut, Marge met a ghostly version of Dr. Monroe. All told, Dr. Monroe appeared in 21 episodes of The Simpsons, not counting mere background photos or reused archive footage. The Simpsons has indeed featured several clip shows. Dr. Monroe was clearly meant as a parody of pop psychology, serving as a reminder that mental health, like everything else, has been grossly commodified. His guarantee of family bliss or W money back sterilized the over-commercialization of all things rampant throughout the 1980s. Once the 1980s had ended, however, and more sensitive language was adapted by the public at large, it was called politically correct at the time. Dr. Monroe's function came to an end. Whether or not he remains dead in limbo or has come back to life remains to be seen. Thank you for watching this video, and peace out till the next one.